We're going to keep working through linear algebra concepts, and today we're going to talk about horizontal and vertical lines. This is from lesson 34 in your textbook, so let's jump in. Couple of things we need to make sure that we remember, or that I need to go over with you. Number one, parallel means they run side by side like railroad tracks. So parallel lines would be exactly, of course that's not drawn straight, but two lines, whatever direction they are, that are side by side, they're parallel. What that means in terms of linear algebra is that it means they have the same slope, which we'll get into that a little bit more, but parallel just means they are going to be side by side. Remember, when we're dealing with a coordinate system, x runs side to side, y runs up and down. Here's the type of problems you're going to be given. Write the equation for the line that passes through, and you're going to be given a point. And then you're going to be told a set of information. It's either going to be parallel to the x-axis or it's going to be parallel to the y-axis. Now, your textbook does a lot of words in here that are kind of confusing. Not kind of confusing, they are confusing. They even confused me. And actually, I'm re-recording this lesson because I tried to follow the textbook and got myself backwards instead of having to redo the whole lesson back to the way that I understand it, okay? So kind of ignore the textbook lesson, which I seem to say that a lot, but okay. Sorry. If I have a line that is parallel to the y-axis, so here's my coordinate system, x and y. This is going to pass through 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Here's my point. And it's going to run parallel to the y-axis, means it's running right here. Okay? Now, there's this whole mathematical thing I could do. Let me erase that line. This whole mathematical thing I could do. Y equals mx plus b. Remember, that's the equation of a line. Now, let's just begin to sort of logically think through this, and then I'm going to give you two formulas, and you won't have to think logically anymore. You can just apply information to the formulas. B is the where it crosses the y-axis. Because I am running parallel to the y-axis, it's never going to touch the y-axis, which means that doesn't even exist. Okay? And there's not going to be a slope because it's not going. The slope is the rise over run. It's the sort of the angle that our line is going up or down, and our line is not angled at all. It's just straight up and down. So technically, the slope is always 0. So I don't even have an m here. And this is all just kind of all this information that's kind of more and more confusing. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to even think about any of this. Okay, we're going to erase all this. And we're not really going to think, and my children are getting louder and louder in the background, sorry. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If it is parallel to the y-axis, that means it's going up and down. That means it is a vertical line, correct? If you have a vertical line or a line that is parallel to the x-axis, if you know those two pieces of information, parallel to the y-axis, and if you know this point, you don't even have to do any work, okay? This is your x value, this is your y value. And the formula is, if you have a vertical line, the equation of the line is x is going to be the x value. That says value, not valve, sorry. So let me plot this again and kind of explain this to you. Here's my Cartesian coordinate system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Here's my point, right? This is my x, and this is my y. And here is my vertical line passing through that point, if I had drawn it correctly, parallel to the y-axis. This is crossing my x-axis at 5. So the equation of the line is simply x equals 5. And I know by seeing x equals 5 that my line crosses through the x-axis at 5, and that's all there is to it. So you don't even have to even think about any of this stuff. I just wanted to show you that so you could understand it. And this lesson is much easier together. Don't overthink it, okay? If it is a vertical line, x is the equation of the line is no longer y equals mx plus b because there is no b and there is no m. It's never crossing the y-axis, and there's not a slope. So in order to get the equation of the line, we simply do x equals the x value, and that is the equation of a vertical line. Now, if it is parallel to the x-axis, here's my coordinate system. I'm not sure why I have yellow, but that's it. If it's parallel to the... Oh, they did something good in their game back there. Hope if you heard them, sorry. If it's parallel to the x-axis, so here we go, it passes through 2, -3. It's parallel to the x-axis, which means it's going to cross right here. Now, again, let's talk about this logically. Y equals mx plus b. When I have a horizontal line, the slope equals 0. So this goes away. If the slope equals 0, then mx, slope times x, is gone. It equals 0. And what I am left with is y equals b. And b, remember, is where it crosses the y-axis. So for the horizontal equation, it's y equals the y value. In this case, it is crossing the y line at -3. So this equation is y equals -3. Let's do a couple more. Okay, that was a lot of information. Here is what you need to know and what you need to remember, okay? If you have a horizontal line, that means the line is parallel to the x-axis. The equation of the line is y equals the y value. It's going to be the one number. There's no rise over run. There's no b. Y equals the y value if you have a horizontal line. If you have a vertical line, that means it's parallel to the y-axis, and the equation of the line is x equals the x value. So let's do a couple of these. Find the line that passes through -3, -5, and is parallel to the x-axis. Parallel to the x-axis means it's horizontal. And if it's horizontal, I use y equals the y value. And remember, this is x, this is y. So the equation of a line that passes through -3, -5, and is parallel to the x-axis is y equals -5. And that's all there is. No actual math needs to be done. You just need to process through the information and pull out the correct information. What about a line that passes through -3, -5, but is parallel to the y-axis? If it's parallel to the y-axis, then it's horizontal, and I use x equals the x value. Again, x, y. So x equals -3. That's the line equation for a line that is parallel to the y-axis there. So just remember, horizontal is y, vertical is x. For homework, you're going to be working out of your book because this is impossible to get on that online stuff because of the graphs. So you're going to do activity 2 and 3 from lesson 34. You're going to work on pages 75 and 76. And if you look at those pages, you actually have a fourth activity. You do not need to do the fourth activity. You need to do activity 2 and activity 3. Okay, so activity 2 and 3 from lesson 34.